Hey guys, welcome back to Bohs Fan TV, and today we're going to be doing a tier list video. I've never done one of these before, but since it's mid-season break and there's been nothing really to do a video about, I thought I'd do a tier list. So I've kind of thought about doing this for a little while, but I'm doing it now anyway. This one's going to be so winning keep long is made since 2017 because I didn't kind of want to go all the way back because it took forever. Um, so I just did 2017 because that's the kind of first season I started going to games, and yeah, so we're just gonna do until 2017. Obviously, you've seen the first player, put him in there. Keep Buckley. I did pre-record this. I kind of just tested this. I've never used this one, this kind of software before to do videos, but well, you put Keep Buckley in amazing. He's the first player. So I'll go through the categories first, actually. So amazing. So that's obviously like brilliant, unreal sign, and proved to be a great acquisition. Very good. Not quite amazing, but still, very good. Decent. Not amazing, not very good, but quite average, decent. Poor. Not quite a stinker, but um, still not great. And then Stinker's just complete waste of time, really, one of the worst signings. So obviously keep up, he's going in amazing. I think that's just no questions asked there, really. This is obviously when he came back from his short spell at Bray. And I think he's been a massive miss this season anyway. He could really do with his leadership in the middle of the park at the minute. And he's over in Australia right now, obviously. But yeah, he was an unbelievable player for us. His leadership, he always did well in the big games. He was always well up for them. So he's going in amazing. Next, I know you can't see his face there, but I think that's Colin Mccabe. I was looking back at it. He only made about four appearances. So kind of don't know where to put him. Maybe kind of poor, maybe. I don't know. Like he did end up at Shells, didn't he? And then he's at Drogheda now. Um, yeah, I don't know. Every time I'm seeing him, he's been okay, I guess. But not. It's hard to comment really because he barely played. But I'm just gonna have to put him on par because he didn't play. These are in kind of random order as well. So I don't know. I think I've kind of got everyone, bar a few that didn't really play. So next one there is Sam Packham. I know this is quite a random order, but yeah, I've got Sam. Yeah, next to Sam Packham. Hard to really judge on him because he's only on loan and he's only made a handful of appearances, but he's had a couple of pretty poor games. It's kind of hard to judge him, but right now, probably put him in poor to be honest because he did play a few games and he didn't look the best. But there's still a lot of time for him to prove us all wrong and try to get a consistent run of games going. And I don't know when his loan ends. I think it could be the summer, it could be a month. But right now at the minute he hasn't been brilliant. Next is Conor Levinson. I don't know. I'm kind of tempted to put him in either kind of very good or decent. Um, he came in 2019. He was one of those. He was one of the many players that came in that transfer window. Probably gonna put him in decent because he's solid. He's very solid. I would put him in very good, but just don't think he's quite there. I don't know. He's solid. Like, don't get me wrong. He scored some good goals for us. I think he's done well this season. He's obviously captained the side a few times. Um, and he's put in some good performances, but I wouldn't put him in very good. I think he'd have to have been like. I kind of want to put maybe. Well, no, not like. I'm not. I was gonna say like. I kind of want to put more of the kind of technically kind of good players that, but I still think Conor Levinson's been a brilliant signing. But I'll go on. I'll put him in very good then. I just because he's been here a while now. And he has come up with some good goals. He's a solid player, captain the side a few times, like I said. And yeah, he's gonna go in very good. Next is Grant Horton. Um, Obviously he's only on loan, just like Pagum, and he, you know, I think until he got injured, he was quite good. Um, Kind of bit, in the middle, decent, very good. I'll put him in decent just because, obviously he's got a bad injury now, and he's going to be out for a little bit. Um, but you know, sorry, I had to put the laptop into charge there because we've got 40 odd players to get through, and it's a bit low on battery. So back to what I was saying, Grant Horton, I'm going to put him in decent just because he's only on loan. He's only played a few games, but in those games, I think he's been really good. Um, yeah, so that's really much you can say about Horton. Obviously, he scored that goal against Shells, and I think he's been pretty solid. And obviously, hopefully, he comes back from his injury soon. I doubt it though. I think it's quite a bad one, but we do need him. We do need some solid defenders. Right, next, Scott Allardyce. Hammer, as he used to call him. I don't know. He was very good, I thought, in certain games. I thought he really gave us all. I was quite surprised we let him go at the end of the season as well, because I thought even though he didn't play every game, he did give a lot, give it all on the pitch. I think he probably belongs in decent because there's obviously there's does take a lot to be in the kind of amazing, very good category. Um, but yeah, I like Scotland. I thought he was a good player. Obviously, like I said, he always gave 100%, and that's what you want to see when your players are your club. You want to see them show that they care, and I think Allardyce definitely did that. So yeah, decent. So it was kind of harsh to let him go at the end of the 2019 season, I think it was. But yeah, not a bad word to say about him. I think he was pretty decent. Stephen Marlon, his time at Bohs has obviously been massively hindered due to injuries. He's come up with some really good performances at times, but again, it's just those injuries that are just so frustrating. Decent poor, really in two minds here right now, but I'm gonna put him in poor. I don't know. I really want to put him in the kind of decent category, but just those injuries have been so disappointing. I really want to see more of him, but his time at Boss has just been known for the injuries, really, and I think there's a lot of talent there, but it's just those injuries, isn't it? And there's been times where he's done well, and some people may watch this and think it's harsh that I put him in poor, but it's just those injuries, isn't it? Hopefully he can recover. I think he's back now. I know he was on the bench there. I think it was at the draw of the game there. But I don't know. Should have put him in decent. I'll leave him in poor. I might change me mind at the end, but right now Stephen Mann's going to be in poor, unfortunately. Carl Moore. Um, this is his second spell at the club. Yeah, when he came back here. I don't know. We didn't really see him much, did we? Um, but he was a good player. He was. He had a good career. He was at Man City when he was a youth player, and he was at Shells, and he was at a few other clubs in the League of Ireland. So some people may look at this and think, why are you putting Carl Moore ahead of Marlon, maybe? But I've put him in decent. Why not? I know we didn't see much of him, but he had a good career. He did well in his first spell, I suppose, and he was a good player. But I'll put him in decent. I don't know where to put him really because he was he didn't feature a lot in the 2018 season, but he was still a good player overall, I thought. Kevin Devani. This is a player I haven't heard in a while. Kevin Devani. I thought he was very good. I'm gonna put him in very good, very good or decent. I know I'm gonna make him win the below here. I'm struggling to make him win the below here, but you know, it's obviously kind of sad how he left the club because I know he had a few personal issues and that's why he left. But I thought technically he was a good player. He had a good goal in him. He had a screamer in him. He did score a few good goals for us. Maybe very good, a little bit of a stretch. But overall, I thought he was quite good, so I'm going to put him decent. Roland Dowell. Um, See, there's some tough ones here because they haven't. I've included a few players that maybe haven't quite, you know, made enough appearances to kind of judge on them. But I thought Dowell when he played in a few games, I thought he was quite good. I think he wasn't Manus in the cup where he played and I thought he was really good. And I was like, I want to see more of him, but we just never did. Um, Probably poor, just because he came in. I remember Keith Long at the time said, he was a good addition, but we just never really saw him, so just gonna have to put him in poor. JJ Lunny, I would say decent. Obviously, he had two spells at the club. His first spell, I thought he was quite good. I was disappointed that he went to Waterford, but the second spell, I thought he was quite poor. So I'm kind of in the middle, really. I don't want to put him in poor, and I don't think he deserves being poor, but I don't think he deserves being very good either. Um, but yeah, he's just alright player. Yeah, like I said, first spell quite good, second spell not so great. So I'm going to just put going to be sitting in the middle and go decent. Cole Kiernan, first thinker maybe. Um, yeah, I thought it was really bad to be honest. Listen, he was probably a good fellow, like, and he was given an opportunity really. But I remember, I think it was one game he played against Waterford, where he came on when Georgie Kelly got injured, and he absolutely sunk the gaff up. So he's probably going to play. He's going to have to be put in stinker, I'm afraid. Stephen Mcginnis, lockdown. Stephen Mcginnis was he was like prime looking, like prime. He's not. He was a good goalkeeper. Prime like prime like Levy Ashton or something. He was unreal. I remember during the lockdown when I think Talbot. I know he had an injury, but he um he was out of the team for a little bit, and McGinnis came in, and I thought he did quite well. Um, but I think very good would be a bit of a stretch. Obviously, I think he went back to Bray, Cabin Tierney, whatever they want to be called, and in the off season, and I thought he was a decent keeper for us. I don't think he put a foot wrong many times when he was in goal. So I put him in decent. I don't have a lot of players in decent, not many in stinker, but it'll get interesting as the list goes on. Jordan Flores, again, hasn't met the club long. So far, I think his performances have been very good, but again, he hasn't met the club a long time. But I'll still throw him in very good. Why not? Because he's got a decent career in the League of Ireland. Obviously, being at Dundalk before and playing over in England and all that, and he's come here and I think he's really shown his quality, he's shown his leadership as well at times. And that may seem harsh though, people saying, well, why aren't you putting in someone like Vani? He was at the club for a couple of years, he did well, and I think he had 6 goals, didn't he? Why aren't you putting him up there over Flores? But I think Flores has that quality, doesn't he? You can tell when he's on the pitch, he can win you the game. You know, with he's got a wonderful left foot. So yeah, I think I put him in very good, and with high hopes for him for the rest of the season. I think he's definitely on course to be our player of the season, probably. Um, sorry, Rob Manley. Again, a player who didn't make a lot of appearances. He's a decent League of Ireland striker, really. That's kind of level first division, maybe. Um, I know he played a few League Cup games and got a couple of goals, but probably poor. He didn't really make an impact in the first team um, in 2018, 2017 when he was kind of at the club. But Yeah, I'd probably put him apart. There's not much to say about him. Didn't make a lot of appearances. Um, James Finnerty. Well, this is a tough one because if you were to ask me this in 2 years ago, I'd probably put him up in very good. But last season was quite poor from him. I'm not gonna lie, and he hasn't really shown any kind of improvement this season thus far. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put him in poor. Which may seem harsh. He had a very good first season, but he kind of failed to act on it. And yeah, I want to put him higher. I think on his day he could be a good defender, but um, yeah, we just haven't seen the Finnerty from 2019 that we have in the last couple of seasons. So yeah, I'm afraid he's gonna have to be put in poor. Liam Burr, I think definitely deserves to go on very good. You know, for his quality that he brings to the pitch, you just know that he's got the ability to win you the game. And I think, I didn't know much about him when he came in. Obviously, he was at Celtic and Rangers. He was at a good, a few big clubs, and he's come in and he's really shown his quality at times. He's got a good strike on him. I think this season he's won his games with his ability to dribble, his dribbling ability, his pace. He's a real handful for fullbacks. I think he's been an excellent signing since he's come in, so he's going in very good. Liam Burr, Max Murphy, oh yeah, stinker maybe. Poor. I won't go that far. I'll go. Yeah, no, we're going stinker. Sorry, but he's put in some absolutely atrocious performances this season. And I just don't think he's the answer really. Obviously, he was signed as the left back originally. I know he's right. I think he's right footed because he often kind of uses his right foot when he's crossing. But I don't know why he's a left back. I know we signed a left back there the other day, Burke. So hopefully that can address some problems that we've got there. But Murphy just isn't good enough in my opinion. I don't know. Yeah, he's going stinker. Sorry. Danny Mandrell. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Why not? Yeah, I thought. No, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna do it. Why not? See, I think he was unbelievable in that 2019 season. Um, and just the ability he had. I know his attitude was poor, and I get that, but the ability, the free kicks, the long range shots, he was unreal. And I know he snaked us, and I know he's a rat, but I think he has to go on amazing for what he brought to the team in the 2019 season and kind of the first part of the 2020 season before he drew a wobbler. But yeah, I'm probably gonna get stick for that, but why not? Listen, he was something else when he was here, and I think he definitely belongs in amazing. You know, I could drop him down to very good, but I think we wouldn't have got Europe without him last season, so I think he goes in amazing personally. Um, sorry, a lot of talking and throat's getting a bit scratchy. So next is Anto Breslin. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think we thought it was a mistake. We didn't let him go. Like, we didn't say we've got to go, but I thought it was maybe at the time we didn't think it would be as big of a loss as it proved to be. Came in from Longford, and I thought he did very well. It was disappointing to lose him to Pats there during the off season. Good defender, maybe not as good going forward, but yeah, I think he belongs in very good personally, just because of his defensive ability. We could have done with him this season big time because let's be honest, Wilson can't defend. And we needed someone like him this season. He's been a big loss without a doubt. And what he brought to the pitch, yeah, solid. Chipped in with a remember that goal against Pats, flew over the keeper's head. I think the wind kind of helped him there a little bit, but yeah, I think he'd go very good for me. Danny Grant. Technically, we did sign him. Or technically, sorry, no, technically we did sign him from Bangor. Was it Bangor? I think it was Bangor. And yeah, sorry, I just confused there. I think it was Bangor. Yeah. Um, Bangor. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, I was just thinking there. Let me double check that. Sorry. Yeah, it was Bangor. Sorry, I was doubting myself there. Would you put him in excellent? I think maybe. Yeah. I would put him in excellent. Or amazing. Sorry. I think he was just something else in that 2020 season. Obviously, no one could get near him. Um, and he, he was a big loss, wasn't he, when he went to Huddersfield? And obviously, it's not quite worked out from there. But you know, hopefully, I think he's recovered now from all those injuries, and hopefully he can get. He probably won't get into the first team, but hopefully he can do something there. But when he was at Bohs, he was something else. You could just tell he had the talent. He was just dribbling past fullbacks like they weren't even there. Obviously, 2020 he chipped in with a good few goals too, which ultimately got him his move to Huddersfield. And for Keelan to pick him out from a non-league club in Bangor and to brought him to Bohs. He played in the under 19s for a couple of years, but then he made a he really settled into the first team and played a huge part in us getting Europe in 2019 and then carrying on in 2020 with those amazing performances that ultimately got him his move to England. Um, so yeah, Danny Grant for sure for me goes into amazing. Um, Dan Casey just had two spells at Bohs. Yeah, he was there for I think it was a season or two, season and a half maybe. Then he went to corporate season and then came back. Then he left again. Then he was linked back during the off season, but I'd put him in very good. You'd be tempted to say amazing, but I'd probably put him in very good just because he has left the club a couple of or once and came back. You kind of like make up your mind, but um, yeah, really good defender, so solid. Him and Cornwall at the back in 2020 was something else. They were just clearing everything. Kept a lot of clean sheets that year as well. Um, yeah, he was a vital part for us getting second in that kind of half season because of the COVID. But yeah, you do anything to have him back now, wouldn't you? Especially with the state of the defence right now. So yeah, Dan Casey got very good for sure. Next, Andre Wright. Well, tough one because I think he had his limitations. Obviously, he wasn't the most skillful, wasn't the most pacey kind of player, but he he was strong, he was physical, he scored goals. 2019 when he came in the summer, I thought, who's this fella? He's not brilliant, is he? Um, but I think he really kind of came into his own in 2020, and yeah, I think he was one of our better players, wasn't he? Then I think he got that move to uh, Air United, I think, wasn't it? Which I don't think was the best move from at the time. I personally think he should have stayed with us. But I put him in very good. I know people might think, oh, he was a bit lazy, he was a bit, but I think he did the job, didn't he? He scored the goals, he got us second in 2020. Um, I think he probably regretted leaving us as well because, if you look at who we replaced him with, Georgie Kelly, he he's banging in goals that season. I think Andrew Wright probably would have thought, what if I'd have stayed? What if I was Georgie Kelly? What if I was the one scoring at the Aviva? That could have been me. And, I think obviously maybe it was a sort of blessing in disguise getting rid of Dre and getting Georgie Kelly in. But yeah, for when Andrew Wright was at the club, I thought he did quite well. Maybe second thoughts, would he maybe drop him down to decent? But no, you know what? We'll keep him very good. I know I might get a bit of stick for that, but it's what it is. That's my opinion. Luke White Slater. I really don't know. I'd probably put him in poor. I think we signed him from Stevenage. Sorry. Stevenage, yeah, we signed him from Stevenage, and he was a quick player. He could get around the pitch. He was a tricky kind of player, but he didn't really offer much goal scoring wise, and I think we were kind of quick to let him go. He did work hard though, to be fair. But that was one thing I always remember from him. He was a hard working player. He did give it his all on the pitch. I can appreciate that from the players who played for our club, but just didn't have that kind of quality, did he? So that's where I'm going to put him in for. Sorry, Glenn McCauley, yeah, straight in the stinker. What a rubbish footballer. Yeah, just didn't make any sort of impact whatsoever. Barely played. He missed a lot of sitters. I remember it was at the Shales game just before lockdown. He was played through on goal and made an absolute hash of it. When he was quite an easy enough finish, and he could have made it. I think it was like 3-0 at the time. He could have made it 3-0 at the time, but he completely made a mess of it. And yeah, stinker, I'm afraid. Plus his attitude was pretty shit as well. So yeah, stinker. Um, Rory Feely, I think ultimately he's been poor, hasn't he? He's had the odd good game, don't get me wrong, where he can put in a good performance, but he just doesn't cut it for me, unfortunately. He just seems lost when he's defends. Like he's cost us a good few times in the past, and yeah, just not good enough in my opinion. I didn't want to put him in stinker because I think there is a player in him. He's strong player. He can be a good. Yeah, he can have the odd good game. Sorry, I don't know why I said it like that. He can have the odd good game, but he just doesn't cut it in my opinion. You could definitely do better in that kind of right back department, kind of centre half department. So yeah, Rory Feely's going on poor. Thanks for the cup final goal, I guess, but that's about it really. Daniel Kelly. You'd be tempted to put him in amazing, wouldn't you? But not quite, I'd say. Just because he was at the club for such a short amount of time. He was only there for what, a few months, and I think he scored like 5 goals in 10. I think he only played like 10 games or something like that. And not a big amount of games. I remember we missed him for that cup semi final against Cork in the second leg because he was diving all the time and getting yellow cards. But um, yeah, no, he was still a very good player though, wasn't he? You could tell he had the quality. He was pacey, tricky, scored goals. Was a very good signing from Keith Long. He's at the dock now. I know we did try getting back a couple of times. It didn't quite materialise in the end, but um, yeah, no, very good player for Bohs. Obviously, I'd have him back in a heartbeat, especially with how poor some of our wingers have been this season. On Stokes, I really don't know. He was again a kind of a player. He wasn't at the club for long. Um, Signed him in the summer of 2018, I believe. From Leeds. Then I think he left that off season, got Derry. Um, Decent maybe. I'd probably put him in decent because I know he did score in the derby, didn't he? To win us the derby in Tala. Um, and he did show flashes of quality, but not quite very good, not quite amazing. Not much to say on him really. He was not the club for a long kind of amount of time. So yeah, probably decent. No, not amazing, but not rubbish. Um, oh, do I even have to? Oh, bummer. The goat. Get into amazing. Um, yeah, just he was something else, wasn't he? Obviously he had his critics at the start, including myself. Well, I'll be honest, I didn't think he was the answer at the start, but as time went on, you could just tell, you know, he had the confidence in him. Um, he had that ability to score goals, and we've seen that in the past. Obviously, when he was at Dundalk and UCV, but Um, yeah, he was just scoring goals for fun at one stage, wasn't he? And we wouldn't have had those nights in the Aviva without him. We wouldn't have had that cup. Obviously, we did lose the cup final, but we wouldn't have got that day out in the Aviva without him scoring the winner against Watford. So yeah, he's got to go on amazing for me, just because the amount of goals he scored. Uh, how popular he was amongst the fans, and it was sad to see him go. But obviously scoring at Rotherham as well. So best of luck to him in the championship next year. Best of luck to Rotherham in the championship next year. I'll be watching out for him. Hopefully he can do something. Because championship is a tough league, but George getting he can do anything. He's ball bomber at the end of the day. He's the goal. Michael Barker. Um, Poor, decent. No, we got decent. Um, some people may think he was quite poor, but solid defender. I remember his absolute masterclass against Rovers. The game where Mandrell scored that belter. He played centre half and he was just unbelievable that game. And he was solid. He wasn't anything amazing, but he worked his bollocks off in every game he played. He obviously scored that late winner against Waterford, that was an unreal moment. I remember being in the away end and everyone was on the pitch. It was just something else, and he's he's definitely given us good memory there with the winner against Waterford. He wasn't amazing. Let's be honest. He did work hard. He did show passion, and that's what you want to see from their players. So yeah, we'll put him in decent. Ryan Swan is kind of similar. Wasn't amazing, but he did work hard. He did have that fight in him. Not the best technically, but again, had like Barker had the fight in him, had the desire. Chipped in with a couple of goals. We'll put him in decent. Uh, I think when Denny got injured, I remember when he broke his ankle, he stepped in before we signed Andre Wright, and he did score goals. And he was working hard. And, he deserves credit for that. So we'll put him in decent. Oh God, Harry, Fashion Harry. Um, have to be a stinker, wouldn't it? Just for the hype that was around it when he signed. The all the excitement, all the oh my God, I was signed Passion here. What a signing, what a player. And we just haven't seen it. We just didn't see it. We literally didn't see it. We barely fucking played, but um, yeah, just a complete letdown really. Even when he did play, he really didn't make much of an impact. I remember Keith Long starting up front in a game. I think it was Longford, and yeah, just didn't do anything. He's after in Harbs now, and he has shown. I remember, I think I seen the clip of him there, on balling out like he's Pirlo, and we barely seeing that when he was at the ball. So yeah, he'd have to go and sinker, wouldn't he? Right, next, Ali Koo. Um, his performances have dropped. I'm not gonna lie. In the past few months, he just hasn't been himself really. But I just think for that Pout game, honestly, just for the Pout game alone, he belongs very good, doesn't he? Um, Gave us some of the best nights of our life, really, one of the best nights of our life in that game with the brace against Pouk. Obviously didn't really count for anything because we got knocked out in the second leg. But yeah, and the swim against Rovers as well. I think that has to be up there as well. That's the reason why he should be in very good. Don't get me wrong, I think he's been quite poor this season, but I think he's definitely been worth it in the end. So I'd probably put him in very good. Aaron Barry, yeah, he was on loan from Cork that year, wasn't he? Again, didn't make a lot of appearances, but from what I can remember, he was quite solid. We'll put him in, we'll put him in decent for now, because I could make changes at the end of this. Um, yeah, he was solid. Like, he wasn't anything amazing. He was a bit like Barker. He wasn't anything amazing, but he did the job. He was only here for on a loan anyway. Went back to Cork. I don't know where. I think last time I checked, he was at Bray. He might still be there. Sorry. Yeah, he might still be there, but I could change at the end. I could have kind of switched it around a little bit. So for now, we're decent. Kieran Kelly. I think very good, maybe. Sorry. Ten words about this one, to be honest, because performance against Pauk in the Aviva was incredible. But this season he's been pretty decent. Well, not decent. He's been pretty kind of average at best. We'll put him in very good for now, just because of those performances in Europe and last season. I think we wouldn't have got as far in Europe without him. He was like prime Maldini that Pauk game, man. He was something else. So yeah, I think we'll probably stick him very good for now. Junior, yeah, look, it's hard to tell really because he's barely played. Um, he's only going to reset into the team. I think for now he's been pretty alright. I think we'll throw him in decent because you know he has come across as a little bit kind of lazy in some games, and he's kind of ghosted out games a little bit. But he has scored. I think it's 4 goals. I think he scored so far this season. Like he's not a bad player. So we'll put him in decent for now. Like I said, I could swap it around a little bit when near the end when the ticket is done, and I kind of look back at the decisions, and I think maybe he could go higher, he could go lower. But Dara Leahy, I think obviously for that the Rovers game alone, he deserves knighthood. Never mind putting amazing, but penalty incident in the cup semi final against Cork, that he kind of lost a little bit of faith from Bohs fans in that perspective, really, from that perspective. Um, we'll put him in very good. Not quite amazing, but we'll put him in very good. So obviously the 99-minute winner against Rovers, that nothing will ever top that. Like that was an incredible moment. But again, he kind of did sneak us to go for them dog. So, but not this one. We'll put him in very good. He was a good player. Um, we miss him. We really do miss him. Any former defender really that we've had, we miss. Even Michael Barker, we're probably walking to our team right now. Jordan Doherty. Again, I think past couple of games he's been slotted into centre half. He's done quite well. Um, Again, not been here for a long time, but we'll put him in decent. Um, Solid player. He's obviously like a strong physical player. Played in America, um, and you know I think centre half. He's kind of found the gem there, really, haven't we? He's going to put him in centre half. He's put in some really good performances. Um, not quite very good, but we'll put him in decent. It's Rory Wilson. Again, um, performances this season have not been good, but overall, this time at Bohs, I think he has been a very good signing because of the free kicks he scored and some of the performances he's playing. I remember it was the Rovers last year in the derby where he played at right back and he was very, very good. Um, and not he's not quite hit the heights that maybe he showed last season, this season, but I think overall, since he brought him in, he has been a good player for us. He's a free kick master, really. Maybe not this season, but last season he was banging them in left, right, and centre. Robbie Mccord. Yeah, I think we've got a stinker here. Sorry. Um, a bit mediocre, let's be honest. He came in from West Brom. We thought, a player from England, it could be a good signing, but yeah, just not very good, unfortunately. remember games where he played where he passed the ball into thin air, like, he was that bad. But he seems to be doing well up in Sligo. He seems to kind of build himself back up again. Um, so yeah, a stinker for us anyway. Uh, James Talbot would probably have to go in amazing, wouldn't he? I think for what um, he's won us games single-handedly with the saves. You know, people have been saying, why is he in the Ireland squad? Why is he in the Ireland squad? Why can't McGinn or Matter be in the Ireland squad? But if you watch week in week out, like us fans do, then you would know why he's in the Ireland squad because for me he's up there with one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league. He 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 single-handedly won us games with some of the saves he's made. Look up a compilation of the saves. I'm sure there's one on YouTube. Just look up a compilation of the saves and you'll see why he's in the Ireland squad. Like he's pulled off some absolute worldies. That Pats game to get us Europe in 2019. One of the best saves I've ever seen, if not the best. He's that's why we chant Ireland's number one. Because he is Ireland's number one. If you look at Kelleher last night, why didn't he save that goal from Siskan? I can't remember his name. Todd would have saved it. Whatever. So yeah, he's been an amazing signing. Um, Dylan Watts, an absolute rat, but when he was here, when he was on loan, he was very, very good. I don't want to count. I don't really want to count loan signings, because that's kind of cheating a little bit. But the fact that he snaked us is kind of putting me in. If you didn't do that and you just would have signed for us permanently, I'd probably put him in very good. But I'm going to put him in decent because he snaked us. And I know, look, says when I put Mandrell in amazing, but I don't know. I think he was only here for a short amount of time. Don't get me wrong, he was really good when he played in that kind of short, long spell. But yeah, not great. The fact that he snaked us. Next is Chris Twatic. I'm really not sure because well, finally it's Chris Wardek. We got to the end now. Chris Wardek, you know, he he's got skill. Um, he can do a step over. Like he seems to always do every game. He's got that something in his locker, but this season has just not been the Twatic we see in 2020. Twatic, if he'd have just kept that form going, he'd have gone straight up to amazing. Honestly, trust me, he was something else in 2020. But the fact that he's just been so bad this season has just kind of slightly kind of hindered me from putting him in very good. We'll put him in decent. He's a good guy. But put him in decent. Is there anything I kind of want to change because you know there are probably a few kind of decisions that I've made that maybe somebody else might think, well, why is he done that? Which is understandable. It's all about opinions. Football's a game all about opinions, but I'm pretty happy with it. I think you know I find it a little harsh that maybe I put Finnerty in poor, just because of that good season he had in 2019. Nah, he's cost us too much times, honestly. He's cost too much times. If he didn't have that car crash of the season last year, I probably would have put him in good or in very good or decent. But yeah, I think he belongs in fourth, to be honest. Other than that, I think I'm pretty happy with that list. Let me know what you think in the comments. I have put this up on tier maker. If you want to do it yourself, it's every cute long signing since 2017. Let me know what you think in the comments. Yep. Um, Obviously, the Finn Harps game was postponed. That was meant to happen tomorrow. I think we're playing a friendly against Dundalk. I don't know if I'll go to that, to be honest. I might, but yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you think of the tier list. Feel free to do it yourself on the tier maker website, app, whatever, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.